Hey guys, so this is video number 2 in my next run of videos, and I wanted to show you guys some upcoming things that I'm going to be doing. This is a cutaway toilet, and this is going to be a flushing, functioning toilet, and it'll be sort of like a fountain, really. You can just you'll be able to see it from the side like this. There'll be like a clear wall that you can look in. And what I figured that I would do, because this didn't perfectly come out straight, like perfectly flat on this surface, what I'm going to do is actually put a thin layer of like Lexan or plexiglass down, and then pour over that this tabletop epoxy resin stuff, which is really great. It ends up being super clear and super tough. And then I'm going to lay this down in it to where it'll, essentially meet up with the surface of this with these edges. And there will be some overlap, but I don't think it'll make too much of a difference. And then what it will do is adhere to the clear Lexan or plexiglass and be just like one solid surface. And then what I'll do is go by and cut the excess off around the edges so that it perfectly fits this. And I think that'll be pretty cool. And then obviously do the same thing with the tank, but the tank will be way easier because it's basically just a square. But that's going to be one of the next things that I do. And then, of course, I'll have to have a base for it and a pump and hook all that stuff up and hook up the flapper. And so there'll be a lot to do. It'll be a pretty involved thing, but I think once it's done, it's going to be really awesome. You can see the rim jets underneath there. This toilet was mostly, I guess for all intents and purposes, a good toilet. But there were some defects, like you can see here, where the glaze did not cover the clay like split, and then the glaze did not cover the split, and then the same thing happened right here on this side. And what I actually did is filled these with white resin to see if that would work, and it sort of covers it up, but the resin is not really it's not durable like this is, because this is essentially glass. Like the glaze is super tough. So what I'm going to do is excuse me, I'm going to refire this. I'm going to get out the resin that's in there the best that I can. I'm going to put glaze, like essentially stuffed glaze in there, and then put it in the kiln and fire it again. So we'll see if it works. I've actually reglazed other toilets where there were like thin spots where you could sort of see the clay coming through, and it worked well. It actually looks good. It blends in really well. But as far as this type of thing, I'm not sure. We'll just have to see. And this is already shrunk down to the smallest it's going to go, so it won't shrink anymore. And what I'm also going to do is some of my other toilets where in this section I broke a couple of them just because it's thinner and I wasn't really cautious. So what I'm going to do there is the same thing. I'm going to put basically in that crack, I'm going to put glaze and put it in the kiln like that, and it should melt the two together. And again, because those toilets have shrunk as far as they're going to shrink, the pieces should stay aligned. Because like if you've only fired one of these, a bisque firing, which is, basically like the first firing and then you glaze it and then do a glaze fire, well, it shrinks every time. So if you were, if this was broken and then you were going to glaze fire it and you wanted to put glaze in the crack, well, because the parts shrink in the kiln, they wouldn't stay together. The cracked part would shrink this way and this would shrink the other way, and they would not be together. But since this is completely shrunk as far as it's going to go, I think that might work. So we're going to give that a shot on this one and another couple that, like I said, where I broke, you know, the bottom part of the base off. So those are just a couple of things that are, you know, in the works right now. Want to let you guys know. And again, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe, and I will see you guys soon.